What a night. What a night of State of Origin. Good morning. The show's a little different this morning. Of course, we're brought to you rock solid by Bryden's Lawyers. But I am still in Perth. In fact, I am at Optus Stadium. That's where the SEN studios are in Perth. So lit up above me is Optus Stadium still. It's a very pretty city. And Brandy back in the studios in North Sydney. Brandy, are you still in shock? I am still in shock from the first half scoreline. I must admit. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Yes, I'm a little bit. I don't know if I don't think I've ever been depressed, but I'm feeling a little flat, Andrew.
Yes. Yes.
We have a decider. Boy, didn't we really want one of those? And not too subtle way to do it. Let's just make the penalty count 8-0 at halftime. 8-0. I don't think I sat down in the first half and took some notes. I don't think I've ever written a referee's name as many times on a piece of paper as I did last night through that first half.
Wow.
Anyway, we have a decider. So July 9, we will be at a core stadium. God knows what's going to happen. I've got no idea. I really have no idea what's going to happen. I'm not going to predict anything. But there was a couple of good performers on that Queensland team. So
all right.
Let's leave it there.
We can't. We've got 3 hours of it.
I'm going home. I'm done.
No, Brandy, stay, please. Elephant in the room. The officiating was atrocious last night. The cynic in me says this is what the NRL wants because they get a decider, but anyone could see that the Blues were hard done by in that first half. Man of the match, Ashley Klein. Might have to get Bryden's Lawyers, Bryden's Lawyers, he says. I thought New South Wales were real disciplined.
There was a couple of penalties there was a couple of penalties blown that were just
a bit like the first game.
Zach Lomax, the elbow, probably Trent Liero probably should have been penalised before the elbow came for laying all over Zach Lomax, who was just trying to get up and play the ball. But anyway, that was a penalty that was it was a no-brainer. Jerome Luai, a little bit of facial work on Ruben Cotter, no-brainer.
A bit of facial work. Both fine. Both players were fine, by the way. No suspensions. Jerome Luai clear to play for the Tigers if they want to play him.
Yep.
And Zach Lomax for Parramatta.
Okay. You can give us a call on the Great Southern Bank open line, 1300 01 1170. And the text line is filling up as we speak. Both New South Wales and Queensland supporters getting in there. Yeah. Smell that, gents. Queensland spirit. Breathe it in, lads. Your tears are delicious. Yeah, when you win, you can rub it in, Andrew.
Exactly.
And we're on the receiving end. Do we really have to cross to Cosern Hills this morning?
Yeah, no, we do.
Right.
We will. See, because we are fair-minded. I'll say this again. I thought in some ways, because Origin we put on such a pedestal and quality of game, that Game 1 was underwhelming in terms of quality. And I also thought last night, while tension went off the scale, obviously, you couldn't look away there in the second half. The overall quality of the game, I thought, left a bit to be desired. 28 error count.
Tough conditions, though.
Tough conditions. Boy. Penalty count 10-2. Total number of set restarts were 8. So that's basically a penalty count of 20 in the old money. 20. Yeah. In the old money with 28 errors.
Yeah. I know. It was a bit stop and start. I just through the call, and Joey said it a number of times. Andrew John said, "Oh well, this happened in Game 2. New South Wales got a string of penalties, and possession went their way." And I thought, is that how Game 2 went last year? And it was 34-0 at half time down in Melbourne. And then I thought, I'll just check what the penalty count was in Game 2 last year. At half time, it was 4-3. 4-3 penalty count. 4-3. Set restarts were 2-0, but 4-3 the penalty count. So it wasn't just one. So anyway, I'm going to stop talking about the penalty count right now.
Are you okay? All right now. Get on the Southern Bank, Great Southern Bank open line one. I'd like we obviously will read through 1,000 texts this morning, but would love to chat. We need to have that contact of voice to voice. Laurie Daly on the penalty count. He obviously was asked about that, and we're not going to get the whole show bogged down on that because we do have so many bits and pieces. I mean, the tries package is fantastic and all of that, but Laurie Daly asked about the penalty count last night, remembering that Laurie is not a coach week to week at handling the media and having to tiptoe around opinion and when you share it. This is what Laurie had to say.
Obviously, didn't help the 8-0 penalty count. What were your thoughts on that at half-time?
I can't tell you what I honestly think, so I'm not going to say that.
Well, there you go.
Right,
That's
okay.
it. That's it, Laurie.
That's it.
So we get nothing.
Well, it's probably better that he didn't say anything. We can I think we can all understand what he wanted to say, but this one from 789. Come on, boys. First half penalty count in game one was 6-1 New South Wales. We can't complain, surely. Yeah, okay.
On the Cleary null try, what did you guys think? Again, I didn't get the benefit of all the replays, but
Yeah.
I thought live it looked all right, and I thought we were a bit unlucky with that one.
Yeah, it was. Well, Pat Carrigan did. Stefano slid to the inside of him, which probably gave Carrigan a shot at Nathan Cleary. But the fact that he was there in and around as Cleary ran past it, on replay, it couldn't have gone any other way, Chameleon.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
that was a
I go with
toughie. But I was just watching that little passage earlier, and that was a few minutes before the break. That was a few minutes before half time, Vossy. And my God, like I know, some of the penalties that we had blown against us were warranted, but if Queensland weren't offside 1,000 times last night, and especially on their line in that little period where New South Wales were attacking the line, I'm going, well, what is he looking at? Is he looking at the line? The only reason Nathan Cleary, and the reason Nathan Cleary ducked back on the inside was because by the time he'd caught the ball, Cam Munster was standing in our attacking line.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how far offside he was.
There's no debate of that. There's no debate of that.
A side can't be perfect. A side, we had 8 penalties blown against us. They had none. 0. They didn't hold us down.
I'm feeling it, Brandy. Dave Ricciardo's feeling you. I saw the news.
I'm feeling you, Brandy. I'm feeling you.
He said he's not getting up early to contribute on the show. That's really appreciated. We, of course, will have Michael Carayannis on the program from the Telegraph. Stories from all different angles. Thank you. He's not there yet. Boys, with all due respect to the players involved, for 60 minutes, that was a shocking game of Origin. Ashley Kime seemed to be obsessed with having his name in lights after key games. The game had no flow. Surely his appointment must be in question for Game 3. That's the Canberra Shark.
No, it won't be.
His takeaway. Can I give you a takeaway too, just on bigger issue in terms of the near future? Perth on fire for rugby league.
Really?
Felt Origin. To the point where I made a comment last night. Well, I'm ditching Origin games in Adelaide from now on. If we're going to go neutral venue, then it's Melbourne, Perth. Melbourne, Perth.
No
Melbourne,
Adelaide.
Perth.
Yeah, Melbourne, Perth. Melbourne,
Brush
Perth.
Adelaide.
Brush Adelaide.
Brush Adelaide.
I'm with you.
It's a terrific city in terms of accessibility.
Yep.
I probably didn't realise until last night, and then this morning Ubering here. So Belmont Park Racecourse is walking distance from here, like a decent walk, but walking distance.
Yep.
Walking back to the hotel last night from Optus, you go past Gloucester Park, the trotting track. It's Sports Central. They love their sport.
Yep.
They love their sport, and there's room for rugby league, elite rugby league, and they will embrace it.
Yep.
They love going out. It was Wednesday night, mate. The gates opened at 3:30 yesterday. I was in a function room at 3:45. The room was full at 3:40. Don't people work?
Wow.
It's 3:40 in the afternoon.
I saw that
function
text
room of
come
800
through.
was full.
Yeah,
Like,
I saw you say, look, I'm just about to go on stage now, and I thought, well, that's early. Can we just say, let's push the people will still want to have their say about the penalty count and what went wrong, but the decision to make Cameron Munster the captain, didn't that pay off?
Yeah.
Did that not pay off? That was his best game comfortably this year, and one of his great Origin performances. Vossy, you know who else was outstanding for Queensland? Kurt Capewell.
Kurt Capewell.
Kurt Capewell was brilliant. I would put Capewell in the top 3 players for Queensland. Munster was their best. Val Holmes was outstanding and kicked the goals. Kurt Capewell was fantastic. Ruben Cotter had his best game of the year by a long way. So they stood up. Queensland, and you thought that they'd get a reaction after they were panned in the press. Queenslanders were asking questions. Billy made some big calls. Tommy Dearden coming in for Daly Cherry Evans. Dearden was fantastic. They had some really good performers. And when you break it down, that they had their individuals, there was far more outstanding Queensland individuals than there was for New South Wales. And
I agree with that.
In the end, that's the reason that they won.
Based on the football, Queensland, for me, better side last night. Overall game, yes, it was trying conditions at time, very heavy rain, slippery, but a little bit less than what we expected. Maybe everything will align come game number 3.
Hello, boys. Good morning. How are we?
Well, of course, the Giants are playing this weekend. They're in the 8 of the AFL. We thought we
Yes.
might touch on that.
And
of
the
course,
Swans are up and about.
And they knocked over the Brisbane Lions last week, so it was a really good win by the Giants. What was your thoughts?
Good research. Good research.
Well
Vossy.
done. Well played.
mate.
Boys.
Who should be opening the batting when we get to the West Indies?
Yes.
Shane Van
yeah.
Gisbergen. Have
Any
we got the
Queenslanders,
updates
man,
there?
it's
Shane Van
Shane
Gisbergen.
Gisbergen.
Cotter and Cape will open in the batting for Australia. Don't worry about that. Boys, how did we see it?
I thought Capewell, if he wasn't the best player, he was the second best.
Good call.
The call to pick Cameron Munster as skipper was a masterstroke.
Yes.
Ruben Cotter had the best game he's played this year, maybe for 18 months, Ruben Cotter. Dearden and Grant were fantastic. Val Holmes was solid, kicked goals. That was the difference in the end. You had better individuals, your players, there was a number of them, and we just went through them, outplayed the individuals on the New South Wales side.
And Brandy, give us a few that you were impressed with in the blue jersey too, mate.
Payne Haas.
Performance.
Hudson Young was very good off the bench.
was.
And I thought Liam Martin was good early.
Yeah, I mean, Brian Toto, we've had a couple of calls, texts come in, he should have got the man of the match, which I disagree with, but what a performance he was. I mean, 25 carries, up over 200 run metres. He just refuses to be put down. So strong for such a small man. But it was a great victory. Queensland up against it, weren't they? I mean, 26-6 at half-time off a team that had struggled to score points. They'd only scored 2 tries out of the last 10 with 13 on 13. But, boy, they were hanging on desperately in that second half.
Yeah, they were. Ash Klein, he gave them every chance. If they couldn't convert the possession that they had in the first half, well, then there would have been questions. But they made the most of the possession that they were handed.
I've been pretty honest in my summation of the game. I struggled to think on how and whenever there was a lopsided penalty count like that, 8-0 in the first half, 10-2 it finished. I think it's a concern for the game, personally.
I don't think, and many of those penalties were warranted that were given against New South Wales. Like there was some, the Dramlu, I think, was silly. The Zach Lomax elbow, even though I said set restart should have been called before he gave the elbow. But anyway, there was moments where New South Wales let themselves down, and what they did off the back of that was then make errors. So they were penalised, then they'd make an error, or they give a set restart away, and that really hurt them. But my point of the penalty count is that Queensland in the first half was 0.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's anyway. It was turned around, and because you know how hard it is, it's hard to win back-to-back Origin games. That's a fact. That is a fact.
Some uncharacteristic errors coming from both sides. I mean, 2 kick out on the falls, one from Luai in his first, and Nathan did the same. But then Cameron Munster had a couple of horrible kicks himself short of the line. I mean, kicked it into row 1 there at 1 point, 7 tackle sets.
Yep.
That just shows, I suppose, the conditions played its part, but also the pressure, the line speed, or the leaving early of the defensive line from both teams was just let go.
I know. What about this one? We got a text earlier. Ponga has one arm inside a Kiwi jersey, heart not in it. It's
That's the issue this morning for mine.
Yeah.
That's the issue. The boys don't want to. That's the issue.
Well, I went through and gave my player ratings this morning and what I thought and how I thought. And I had Ponga at a 6, one of Queensland's sort of lesser players. I think he's struggled to get into the game last night, a few real crucial errors. But obviously the conditions did play its part.
Corey, your burner account's come up on our text line. You don't have to be so. It says, after the first game, when Queensland got caned by penalties, we were told to work on our discipline. You Sooks finally lose a penalty count. The game is apparently corrupt. Cockroach flogs.
You can't be calling us Sooks, mate.
That's
Listen,
that's us.
I take huge offence.
You're calling New South Wales people Sooks.
Right.
I mean, that's your burner account sending that. Don't blame us.
Well, Troy's got his burner account working as well. Can't believe their mindset every time they lose. It wasn't our fault. It was the ref. Blah blah blah. There's Troy.
Yeah.
Hey, there was a call come through this morning. It sounded like this.
Brandy, you got that sick bag there?
That is
sent across to Perth.
Yeah, just a little bit sick. Just a little bit.
Just in the
That's
mouth.
Alfie's
Just in the
burner.
mouth. Doesn't come all the way up.
Be careful. But don't rub it in too much, boys.
Well, we've also. Well, hang on a sec. Talk about be careful. Let's just have a listen to this one.
I'm going to go early crow here. Corey, Heels.
yes.
New South, get the crow ready. Get the crow ready. New South Wales are going to win this year's State of Origin Series 3-0 in both men's and women's.
Right. Thank you very
Men's
much.
and women's 3-0.
Well, we had a
Brandy,
call.
Brandy, be careful.
We had
was
a-
what you said.
Yeah, we had a call to deport Aaron Woods. I might throw Vossy onto that.
Yeah.
Oh, this is good.
Solid.
Straight under
Solid.
the bus.
Look what's
One
happened.
of the best.
We're
I'm
tearing
taking-
each other apart. We're
I'm taking
3-2.
some of these
It's
Penrith boys away
3-2.
with me. I'm taking some of these Penrith blokes out of the side with me.
6-0 and it's currently 3-2. There you go.
Yeah. Look, let's face it. Has anyone mentioned 5 tries to 4 on your show today? And no one.
I've got this written down right in front of me because that's the
Have
only
you?
thing you can cling to at the moment. 5 tries to 4. Well, it comes down to goal kicking. It all plays its part.
Yeah.
Nathan, no good in game 1. This time it was Lomax, no good in game 2.
They'll sort it out before game 3. And 5 tries becomes important. Someone said, can you let Corey know that his car's illegally parked and about to be towed? Come and say.
Yes.
Nick from Brisbane. Right. Very good. Very good.
That is good stuff.
Yeah.
Hey,
So you're having a good morning up there. You're having
Well,
a
it's
great...
always a good morning, mate, when your team wins in a State of Origin match. That's for sure. The physicality, boys, particularly between, I thought there was a lot spoken about, the 2 Roosters teammates, Spencer Leniu and also Lindsay Collins. Didn't they come to blows?
collided, big collisions. Actually, it was pretty good early, wasn't it, Cos, with Big Tino and Liam Martin both spilling the ball, getting whacked pretty hard. So it was, not that we didn't think it would be willing, but it was, and Queensland, you've got to agree, like, Queensland let themselves down right from the get-go, didn't they, in game one? It was that first set that screamed of everything that happened for the rest of the game, but they sorted that out. Which you knew they would. You knew there had to be a bounce back. There's too many good players in that side.
Yeah, there's a text that comes through from Andrew, Cousin Hills, Andrew from Mackay here. Question for Brandy and Vossy. Are they going to send registered posts for the bottles of wine for yourself and Hills? I'm not sure.
Who'd have thought we'd be up to 4 by now? Hey?
Right. Well, as I said, I thought the Giants were really good at the defence, both ends of the field. I think they certainly have thrown a cat amongst the pigeons with the Brisbane
Vossy,
Lions. I've got a
Vossy,
big question mark on the Brisbane Lions now.
Vossy, name a Giants player for me, Vossy, if you don't mind.
Toby Green. Toby Green.
Good one.
Toby
Good
Green.
one. New South Wales, like Troy, Scotty came in. We talked about Troy and his burner phone. Scotty's in, sort of said New South Wales must be kicking themselves, except they'd miss.
Yeah, we had that. We've done that joke.
Yeah, that's we've read that out.
You boys sound deflated.
We share our
boys.
text, do we?
Well, I know. Well, you blokes could have sounded deflated after game one, but we for some reason we just couldn't get that connection going after game one.
There was no phone line. That has been noted.
There was just a blackout in Queensland. We couldn't cross. Anyway.
Just a question, and we've sort of had a little bit of an opinion around Nathan Cleary no try, which ended up being a real pivotal moment in the game. Are we happy with the no try, or should it have been a try?
No try. No try.
Okay.
Stefano was there, and even though he slid past, he was in the vicinity enough for Patrick Carrigan to make contact, and once that's done, you know what, that leaves the video ref in, no choice to go that way. So no try.
He would have had his hands full stopping him from scoring, but I guess.
And of course, the New South Wales Swifts are on top of the Super Netball.
They're going well.
I know they've lost their last two, but they're
you wouldn't know
top
any
of the
Swifts.
table anyway. And I'll have my motor racing wrap up later.
I don't know either.
First half, fellas.
Quite, because they went left a lot. It was
Yeah,
quiet.
okay.
Yeah, they did go left.
Do you think there'll be any change, barring injury, obviously, but any change at all coming from the Queensland? There's been a bit of chat this morning in and around potentially Ponga and Hammer maybe going back there and Taulagi come to a win. You reckon Billy will make any change?
I don't
Brandy
think so.
doesn't care. Brandy doesn't care.
Yeah, no, well, I wouldn't think so. Cos, would you?
Okay.
Like, even though Ponga was quiet, he's had a quiet series and he's not knocking it
Yeah,
out
I
of the
find
park
it
with
difficult.
Newcastle.
It's
You
very
won.
difficult, isn't it, to make a change? What about for New South Wales losing? Do they make change?
Oh, we thought that Max King might go back to the bench and maybe
Yes.
they start with another front rower, but that's about the extent of it. Maybe there's a change at 14, but maybe not either. Like depending on what they want, what Laurie wants, but I don't think there'll be any changes other than that.
Yeah. We'll be looking at Corey Horsburgh and just how direct he plays against the West Tigers Friday night. He'll have two chances to push his way into that starting lineup, maybe.
Yeah. Well, he could, and he. I guess there was some that were surprised that he wasn't part of it, but again, unless there's injuries, I don't think they change any.
The tale of two halves. I mean, 17 completed sets from Queensland opposed to 9 for New South Wales in the first. You flip it in the second, 10 completed for Queensland, 22 completed sets from New South Wales was probably why they were able to find 4 tries in the second half. But 233 tackles for Queensland in the second half. They were just desperate, weren't they?
They were, and that's what Billy
It's
mentioned.
really boring, this chat.
Vossy, are you still there?
Yeah,
Vossy,
I'm just saying
are you
just how
still
boring
there?
it's getting. This whole chat's just
You're more than welcome to weigh in any time.
grinding me down. I mean, the reason you had so many completed sets in the first half, you got so many penalties. Every time there's a penalty, that counts as a completed set. It's why he didn't have 28 completed sets in the first half. No, I thought I agree with everything Brandy said. I'm on Team Brandy this morning. Individuals played better, and what happens in Game 3? I think
find
New
out
South
July
Wales.
9.
I tell you what. Do you go triple or nothing? I think New South Wales will beat Queensland in both under-19s matches tonight, men's and women's. I think New South Wales will win their both games tonight at Sunshine Coast Stadium. How does that go?
Well, not triple or nothing, just double or nothing.
Well, put a fruit hamper in with that.
You go to 8.
Brandy, I must ask on a serious note, Nathan Cleary, is he injured, mate? Is he playing injured or is it?
Well, he had a leg guard on last night.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he didn't goal kick. So I would be thinking that there might be some sort of quad issue, but not bad enough, obviously, to stop him playing. And he did kick the ball in the second half.
Yeah, but one went backwards too. That was an average kick, wasn't it?
Okay, see you, Hills. Bye, mate.
He didn't train. He
See you
didn't
later.
train the day before either.
No, he didn't. No, that's
so
right.
And he was quoted as saying it's just workload management, but there must be something wrong there.
So let's start the hot topic with a question that was asked of Laurie Daly, and this is our hot topic.
Well, I was confident at half time. So, I know what this group is capable of, and that's the thing, I suppose, that you get disappointed with, because they never gave themselves that opportunity. But, it's one all. That's what Origin is all about. And creates theatre and creates headlines, and I'm sure everyone wants a decider, and they've got it.
No, I don't want one. I didn't want one.
I do.
Did anyone count? I did.
No, I wanted one.
I
always want one. I always want one.
Right.
Yes.
You make me angry. Okay, so the hot topic is, and the question asked from Laura, what were you happy with the 17 that took the field?
Yes,
Are you happy with the
exactly.
players? Our hot
We're
topic
steering
is
clear of Ash Klein, okay, for the hot topic, because I know a lot of people loading up on the referee, but we do have to look ahead as well, and the same as we did analysis of the Queensland side, because I've got to say, I kept saying to you, Brandy, how many times did I say it between game one? Someone explained to me in the last 44 minutes of Origin number 1, New South Wales lost 6-4. I don't think they're as good as people spoke about, and that carried into the first half from last night, albeit with that big penalty count. They weren't that good. Now, Does that mean that they get a chance to finish the job, all of the players, or will there be a little tinkering there? I'm going to run through all the names, and you can score them if we can have Brandy's ratings. Dylan Edwards, not his best game. Does James Tedesco pressure Dylan Edwards?
Maybe. Yes,
maybe.
Maybe. I wouldn't look at making that many changes.
Well, I'm throwing them at you, Brandy. I think you're not liking the rubber glove going here. I might probe you. Brian Toto, absolutely, don't even have to comment. Superb, great game.
Yep.
Stephen Crichton had, a handling error here or there, but still you're going to be picking Stephen Crichton. Latrell Mitchell, not his best game. Left a bit out on the park, I think, last night. Latrell Mitchell, Brent.
Yeah, had some good moments, and his combination with Toto down that left side is very good, and it's lethal. But
yep.
So, and it was a difficult night for centres to get involved in the game because there wasn't a whole lot of ball movement.
Lomax will keep his spot on work rate. So really, it's Toto, Crichton, Mitchell, Lomax all getting invited back for game number 3. Edwards, look, minor chance. Yeah, okay, he'll be there. So Jerome Luai returns to State of Origin. Bit all over the place. And I think a reflection of form at Tigers, even though he wears the 7 at the Tigers, back at his 6 last night. It wasn't anywhere near, like people just talking about, the old firm. I don't think it was anywhere near as slick as what we've seen Cleary and Luai at their best. Nowhere near it. Nowhere near it last night,
no, probably not. And conditions certainly didn't help. Jerome laid on a couple of very nice kicks for tries. And they will be the halves combination going in.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
So Burton will stay on the outer.
That is the pressure, isn't it? It's Matt Burton from the outside. Yep. Yes. That is the pressure.
Now we get down to the forward pack. Isaiah Yeo is the New South Wales captain. Not going to do a Cherry Evans on Yeo. Keeps his spot, starting side.
Yeah.
Crichton and Martin played all 80 minutes last night. Would you be looking to do that again, Crichton and Martin?
Yep.
Front row Payne Haas, yes. Huge numbers again. I think he made 50-something tackles as well, Payne Haas, last night. I'll have to check that.
Yeah, he was pretty good.
Max King only got, as a starting front rower, then New South Wales really have a problem. If you're only going to have your starting front rower playing 24, 26 minutes, well, that's Jake Trbojevic areas. So they've got to have a rethink there. Max is obviously not a starting front rower in Origin eyes because he played the 24 minutes and that's it.
Yeah,
so,
well, he did a good job in game 1 when he came off the bench.
So he'll be benched.
I don't know how long he spent on the field in game 1. I'd have to have a look at that. But
I think it was 30 plus.
Well, he stays. 30. Spencer Leniu, well, he might go back to the bench. But
so a starting front rower position is up for grabs, though. Do you agree on that?
Maybe, yes.
Reece Robson keep his spot or not?
Yes.
Okay. Into the bench. Connor Watson came on, got a little more game time than what he did in game 1. Did he keep his spot? Or do you want a different set of 14 to 17? Do you want a Pappenhausen or something?
Yeah,
something different?
Yeah, maybe. Did you say he played more minutes last night than he did?
I felt like he did not have to double check.
He only played 19 minutes last night.
Right. Well, I don't think he got much more. I think he only got the far. If you think of that first game, he came on and then straight away had an error and then gave the offload for the try. I think he only played 15 or 16 minutes in Origin.
Maybe there's some thought there for the utility.
Question mark, Connor Watson. Spencer Leniu, does he keep his spot?
Oh, yes.
Hudson Young, he definitely keeps his spot.
Definitely. I thought he was good. He dropped the ball, but that's all. Like Hudson Young was terrific, and he came on and played in the middle. Like he was very good.
And then I'm putting, not question mark, I'm putting out Stefano Utoikamanu.
You're rubbing him out?
I'm saying gone. Yeah, I'm rubbing it out. I think the first run was great. He put Harry Grant on his bottom. I think the stats will show 5 or 6 runs for 40 metres when he gave 20 on his first carry or 15 on his first carry.
Yeah, it's hard to like even the big carriers weren't. There wasn't high numbers for New South Wales right across the board.
Yeah,
in the middle of the field, like Yo's numbers were down, Payne's numbers were down. I'm normally I don't. Well, that's up for debate, that one too.
I'm thinking,
but if you're not keeping, okay, so the front rowers Keon Kalamatangi. Well, I don't think Keon's going to be fit.
Well, I don't know. With the fractured eye socket by 3 weeks' time, big chance.
And the other one that's been mentioned is Terrell May. Do you bring Terrell May in on debut for a decider? That's anyway. That'll all be spoken about. So there's probably question marks over a couple of players, but again, this side there was, even though we we weren't great in game one. There was a lot of improvement left in us. We didn't see that come to the fore last night. But I'm not bringing in sweeping changes.
Well, I say they've had 2 10-day camps now, and I don't think they have improved. To me, it's New South Wales way less than what I think they're capable of, given the calibre of player. Is that being too harsh on them?
No,
I think way
probably
less,
not. No.
Two camps, 2 big 10-day camps. Test sides don't get that sort of camp.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're way less of what they could potentially do. So, yeah, they are under pressure. And
well, of course they are, because they lost last night. So, and if they go on to lose the series, well, that will be a bitter pill to swallow after beating Queensland in Queensland game one.
Yeah. No, I'm saying you can't just go to the selection room and say, well, they get the... No,
I'm
saying
get another chance.
Across 2 games, I don't think they've played. There's not too many of them that can say, I've played up to my ability.
Well, okay.
Across the 2 matches.
Rightio. So if you're saying that, now the players that we have a little question mark over, and the side might stay the same, but do they warrant... If we change those players, let's just say we change the players that we've got a question mark across, does that mean that all of a sudden it's a different team? Or are you saying you want to see change in positions that can have a bigger impact on the side?
Yes, not change just for change's sake.
No.
I think James Tedesco is knocking the door down to come into the team. I really do. We'll open up to you. Get on the Great Southern Bank Open line, 1300 01 1170. If you want to play selector, of course, we're here for Ream, the hot topic, Australia's favourite, that's steady, hot and strong. Mm-hmm. But have your say on potential changes. Look ahead, not just back.
Now, if Queenslanders weren't chuckling at us anyway, they certainly are now. And this script has been written before, not suspecting Queensland, fight back from Queensland game 2, and all of a sudden we want to just slash and burn the team. MC.
Boys. How are we this morning?
We're okay.
I'm okay. It's
just, Randy?
Just okay.
Yeah. 5:07. What is it now? 5:07 local time in Perth. It's been a nice early start. I was looking for David Riccio roaming the streets of the city this morning. I thought I saw... In the distance, a hazy figure.
I'm feeling you.
One shoe missing. Dave Riccio.
He's not home yet, Dave. He's not home yet. That's the problem. He's still out.
Yeah, no red eye for him. He stayed over for the run. All right, Michael, we just need to go from all different issues here. Yeah, an overview of the game first up.
Yeah, the Blues obviously disappointing, missed the start, played off that back foot in the first half, and Queensland, I thought, were pretty good, obviously, in that opening half. And, Ruben Cotter, Cape, some of these guys that we'll probably criticise heading into game 2 were outstanding for him. And then Munster, with the added responsibility, was always a threat. So it was bad from New South Wales, but it's one of those ones where you sit here and you usually go, post-game, post a loss like that, you sit here and go, okay, well, there's going to be 2-3 changes. I just don't know where the changes come from. I think it's sort of, aside from injuries, I know, Vossy, you mentioned probably a front rower to come into the mix. But outside of that, I don't see a whole heap of change to this New South Wales side.
No, I agree. I agree. And we've got plenty of text from Queenslanders here saying you blokes are kidding. Like, you went within a whisker of nailing the series. Couldn't kick any goals, yet scored 5 tries to 4, and you're talking about changing the side. Well, I don't think there should be a front rower, maybe, and maybe a 14, maybe a different 14. But I'm not convinced about that either. But it's certainly probably worth thinking about. But that's about it. I still think that the side is it's an outstanding side. Like, surely we can't lose this series with that side.
You wouldn't have thought so, Brandy, but hell, we've been down this far before.
Yes, we have.
What about Nathan, Brandy? Like, I was texting a few Penrith officials last night trying to get a gauge on if they knew what was going on. They didn't really know. Were you across anything in the lead up to the game?
No, I didn't hear about an injury. And as I said, we had him talking. He got interviewed yesterday about visualisation. And at the back end of that, Danny Weidler said, "Are you fit?" And I thought, that was a strange question, but obviously Danny, who's over there, saw Nathan not train, but he did kick the ball 14 times last night. Now, if there was that much of a concern about it, he wouldn't have done any kicking, and he mightn't have even played MC. So,
those 14 kicks, Brandy, most of them happened there was a different mindset in the second half for Nathan than there was in the first half. Like he looked hampered in the first half, but in the second half he decided. I don't know what happened at half.
That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense if you're carrying an injury that all of a sudden you find your feet in the second half.
Did you notice that? Was that just? Did you think that as well, or because Latrell was kicking a lot in that first half, and it was obvious that from my end, watching Nathan in the first half compared to the second half, that it seemed different.
Yeah, I didn't know about the injury, MC,
Unpopular opinion. Do you mind if I just throw it there? Perhaps it's a fact that Nathan's not having a great year. He's having a good year, but he's not at his greatest, is he? Like, how many times this year? Well, we've had a few games, but he's not actually at the, grand final 2 years ago best, for whatever reason, Nathan Cleary this year. I don't know if that's
true.
We're all affected by confidence and all sorts of things.
I don't know if that's right, that statement. I don't know if it is. I think he's been good for Penrith. He's been good. Actually, he's been one of Penrith's best players this year.
Most recent game, absolutely great. But as good as he can be? I haven't seen in either Origin game as good as he can be. Come on, Brandy. What you're the analyst. I mean, Nathan Cleary is arguably the best player in the game. Do you think he's played like the best player in the game the first two games?
No, he's had his moments. But yeah.
I'll say no.
Okay.
I'm just saying that. Of course, I'm keeping him. Of course, I'm keeping him. But I don't think he's been at his absolute best, and I don't think the old firm of Cleary and Luai just clicked last night like everyone just assumed would. But that could also be reflective. Jerome Luai's not having a great year. He's had a good recent game for the Tigers, but outside of that, playing seven, he hasn't been good. He wouldn't be getting picked in the New South Wales team this year based on his form for the Tigers.
Agree there, Vossy. And I think the first half for Jerome and Nathan, you're giving them a 4 out of 10, right? And then they rebounded in that second half. I was just amazed how different Nathan looked in that second half compared to that first half. And Jerome on that left edge created plenty of opportunities to score those tries in that second half. They took advantage of, some defensive errors, I guess, from Rob Toyer a little bit for Toller to score two second half tries. Almost had a fourth for the game with that 3 minutes to go. Got pulled down just short. So, and then later on, that Payne Haas drops the ball for capable tackle. So, they weren't far off the Blues. And as you guys said, I wouldn't. Just on the 14, Brandy, you're right. Like, I wouldn't change Connor Watson. I'd just use him differently, I'd say. Like, I don't know. I just thought he came on a little bit late. Yesterday, I thought Spencer Leonard came on a little bit late. Like, you're talking about a guy that can change tempo of games when you're on the back foot a little bit. It can go one way or the other with Spencer, but I would have got him on earlier in that first half when New South Wales needed an energy boost and were on that back foot.
Only 19 minutes for Connor Watson. And Vossy thought he might have played less in the first game. Look, one of the Origin, we love it, but the clubs don't necessarily love it. And you can understand why sometimes when their players get injured, either playing or at training. And the Eels, with no Mitch Moses now for, what's he got, another month at least. They're saying 6 weeks. So the Eels not happy with what happened. Do you know anything, the circumstances around him tearing that calf?
Well, he had this calf issue, and he's been on a load management program at Parramatta, and Parramatta gave all his data and his training loads to the Blues staff, and New South Wales, Parramatta just frustrated the fact that, he'd been on such a restricted program. I don't know what he trained like for New South Wales, if he was on a restricted program or whatever the case may be, but they knew he had a calf issue, and he needed to be managed. And they've just frustrated that perhaps he wasn't as managed as well as they would have liked, and now they've lost their. They were going good, Parramatta, the last couple of weeks, and you would have thought that, they were smoky for the top 8, but without Mitch Moses, you can probably put a line through their season now.
Yeah, it makes it tough, doesn't it? And of course, Dylan Brown, no Dylan Brown. So we've got Joash Papali playing in the 6 and Dean Hawkins playing in the 7, which has made me tip the Titans.
Just to give you some... Oh, really? Titans, wow, Des. Just to give you the numbers just to complete the discussion on minutes played, Origin 1, Connor Watson did only have 16 minutes in Game 1 when he was brought on. Remember the mistake, then the offload for the try. Max King coming off the bench in Game 1 had 39 minutes. I think you'll find last night he only played 25. Hudson Young only had 26 minutes in the first game and obviously had a lot more minutes last night and saluted. So I don't know whether you make Hudson Young a middle starter for Game 3, but it would have to be in the mix. If you don't have Mitch Barnett and the bloke you start with this game only plays half the minutes he played in, or you've taken 50% off his load from the first game, then I don't think you can go with the same starting 13 anyway. You can't be starting Max King again if you're only going to give him that many minutes. I don't think
but he can come off the bench.
Yeah, off the bench,
you don't have to get rid of him. He can come off the bench. He was good in Game 1.
Game 1 plan.
Yeah,
Game 1 plan.
Yep. Ulch Brandy got whacked by Vossy, says the Pim O'Neill. And this one from 104, wow, Vossy, Cleary isn't playing the greatest individual 20 minutes of footy anyone's seen for 80 minutes a week, week in, week out.
No, okay.
Sounds like something we should investigate.
I will double down. I'm going to call the set where the game was on the line and the ball went over the sideline out of Zach Lomax scrambling for the ball. That was one of the worst sets you'll see from an elite team. Elite playmakers out. That was an awful set. An awful set with the game on the line. They were frantic and the direction, they kept coming right when I thought they were going to go left. They kept coming right, little pokes, and then ball ended up at the side. That was a dreadful set, boys. Come on, call it as you see it.
Let's make changes then.
No, we haven't. We've gone through the players. We haven't, but someone has to admit that they're not playing great. 2 games, they haven't played at their best. Say it. You can't handle the truth.
I can't even remember Game 1 now.
Well, I'm telling you. Well, I'm just telling you. We only scored, New South Wales scored one try in the last 44 minutes of the game. I'm just reminding you.
I'm with you, Vossy.
Okay, where's this conversation going, boys? What are we we're wrapping it up. That's good.
Just on the charges, Michael, just a shout out on that. Brandy and I are both happy. Luai fined only. But I thought Zach Lomax, pretty close to a game penalty rather than a fine. Would it have been a game penalty in an NRL match, you think?
No, I don't think so. I think they've got that one right. No, I think it's he's lashed out, penalty, fine. I'm okay with it. Just it's borderline.
Borderline.
Look, if he copped the game, I'd be saying I'm fine with it too. You know what I mean? It's one of those ones where I think it's touch and go. But maybe they felt bad for Parramatta because Mitch Moses tore his stuff.
Who's the referee Game 3, Michael?
I don't know. Grant Atkins, maybe. Who's the number 2? Who's the number 2 referee these days?
Oh,
our man that's
Todd Smith
just jumped
Todd
out of the
Smith?
cupboard.
Adam G.
Adam G.
Todd Smith, maybe.
Nah, he's not. He's well.
Gerard Sutton.
It's probably Jared Sutton.
Probably.
Yeah.
What did he control last week? He controlled the Roosters.
Wow.
South.
We've been down that road before.
Brandy, be careful.
Well, we have. He's refereed plenty of games. I'm just saying, Jared Sutton's been in control of a number of series.
Brandy, are you serious?
It's a fact. It's a fact.
Elbows coming.
You know, Michael, doctors say a proper breakfast includes eggs, bacon, and breakfast with Vossy and Brandy. So get your daily fix through our socials and listen live on SEN Radio.